Good evening, I'm Camden Cohn, and our Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. Earlier today, the Big Ten Conference announced that 3 Husker soccer players were named to the Big Ten Preseason Players to Watch list. Reagan Robbie, Lauren Anglum, and Sadie Waite were the Nebraska players on the list. The Big Ten also released the preseason poll, and the Huskers were projected to finish 12th out of 18 teams. In other Husker news, Petra Bojan was named to the All-Star 5 after her performance in the FIBA Eurobasket Division B Championships in Hungary over the last week. She averaged just over 13 points and 6 rebounds over 7 games for Croatia. And finally, it's another busy day in Major League Baseball. However, there's just one game that is currently in action. They're in the bottom of the 4th in Cincinnati, where the Reds lead the Phillies 1-0. We're about to start in New York, where the Yankees will host the Twins. At 6:40, the Royals will host the Nationals. Also at 6:40, the White Sox will host the Tigers, among many other games tonight. Our Sports Ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit stonebridgeiwm.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Pianto set first offering. That ball's driven up the middle. Coming around third is Dylan Carey. The throw is offline. The Huskers win it. The Huskers win it. Nebraska will march on.
Wing to the near side. Snap back. Has some time. Steps, throws down the field. The pass is intercepted. Picked off by Sierra Wright to the 30, 25, 20. Sierra down the near sideline. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska. Sierra Wright with a pick 6 for Nebraska. And the Huskers have taken the lead on the road.
Rimdahl, a couple of ball fakes, bounces into Prince at half court. And Prince is going to make a run on a falter. Steps back for 3 to tie the game. You betcha! Biggest shot of that freshman's young career. Timeout! We're tied at 75. Britt Prince is 19. She steps back and sticks a three-pointer, her 5th of the night.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome in. Happy Monday, everybody. Full 2 hours of Sports Nightly headed your way, and Kyle Crooks officially here with us. You even got your name by the big name guy, big voice guy.
I got my name. I have glasses today. They help me with my screens. These are blue light glasses, so these aren't prescription.
Actually works?
These work. These are the
Okay.
real deal. So especially when I'm in season, football season, when you have crossover seasons, you're always looking at screens, and you're the same way, right? You're always preparing. You're always looking at screens. So for me, if you see me with glasses on, these aren't for my sight. This is for my
You
headaches.
have 20/20 vision?
I don't know. I haven't had that tested, but I would say so.
You don't need glasses or contacts?
No.
Oh, that lucky
Which is
you.
a good thing, considering what I do for a living. So
I do. I mean, I have to wear like heavy prescription.
heavy.
I'm very, very hard of seeing.
Okay, so you're wearing contacts
Yes,
all the time.
yep.
Do you have specs?
Yeah,
that
I have to wear them sometimes. People have seen them here on the show when my allergy season kicks up in May, hard to get the contacts in. So.
I can see that.
But
How
I usually
thick
wear
are
my
the glasses?
Pretty thick.
I got to see it because I have not seen Jessica with glasses on yet, and that's a must.
Yeah.
Some people have some pretty cool things on bucket lists. For me, that's on the bucket list.
Well, I really am hoping if anyone's listening in and wants to get an NIL deal for a LASIK eye surgery, I'm all in. I'm all about it. So if I could get rid of wearing glasses and contacts, I absolutely would. But yeah, I've got pretty bad eyesight. So.
Okay, well, that's good to know that you're taking care of it, though, that you have contacts on. And yes, so this is, to bring this full circle, this is my first full-time Sports Nightly, although I essentially did all 2 hours on Friday, but this is the first time that I'm full-time on the show, and we got a chance to talk to Nick and thank Nick Hanley for all the work that he had put in for a long, long time, not just over the summer, but, of course, everything that had happened with Greg and you needing help with the show. And Nick and others have certainly helped out, but this is the start of creating some fun, new ideas, new segments. We'll take some YouTube comments, some texts if anybody has ideas on some new segments as we get set to kick off football season.
Yeah, 402-413-2400. We did get some suggestions on that note for your ice cream, your soft serve ice cream. One of those being actually echoing what Camden said. This one was from Steve. And he said Zesto at 11th and South, great soft serve. So Camden also said that. So apparently that's...
Jason, our GM, also mentioned Zesto. It's cash only, though. We did find that out. But sometimes cash only means it's the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go there.
And then we also had another suggestion, but hearing that this does not have soft serve, but the Husker Dairy Store on East Campus for ice cream. But I don't think that's exactly what you're looking for. I don't know. We asked a couple people around here that said there's no soft serve. So
So I tried another ice cream place out this weekend. There was soft serve, but it wasn't the soft serve I was looking for. So I feel like options for soft serve are pretty limited, but it seems like Zesto is the number one, still waiting to get that spot. Once I find that spot with the perfect soft serve, you might see me there every weekend.
I mentioned this in our meeting today. I feel like that might be a good little social media segment, is following Kyle tracking down soft serve ice cream in Lincoln.
You had all these answers too, and I guess people had texted on Friday, and you brought this out in the meeting, and I had said to you, well, Jessica, I could have used this weekend.
Over the weekend?
You were just holding out.
Well,
all these.
I wanted to save it so I could tell you.
Save it for the show.
Not going to tell you till we got on the show, but then we had some ideas floating around in the meeting that I felt like I had to break it to you. So, but apparently Zesto's is the first spot.
Zesto's, it is. Count me in.
You also experienced for the first time Husker Volleyball.
Crazy.
Red, white, crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy in a good way.
Yeah.
So the video that I posted on X the other day, on Saturday, when the big red scrimmage, or the red and white scrimmage had taken place, was me walking in the tunnel for the first time and just doing a panoramic on the entire crowd. It was during starting lineup, so the lights were down, everybody had their cell phone lights out, and there was not an empty seat in the entire place. And you can count on one hand, probably half of one hand, on schools that could do that for volleyball, and you could probably do that for a bunch of sports here on campus for an inter-squad scrimmage. And Coach Rule tweeted out the same thing. He said, I thought I was showing up to a inter-squad scrimmage, not expecting to be what it was, and to have a sold-out John Cook Arena, 8,000 plus, I think, was around the official number, and they're going to expand the seating in there. Troy Dannon had mentioned in his press conference to about 10,000 plus eventually, but 8,000 plus for an inter-squad scrimmage shows
that happens
passion.
every year, and that's every year. That's
crazy.
That's not new this year because they're the number one team in the nation. That's something that happens every single year. So it is. I mean, welcome to Husker Volleyball. I also, a couple things that you got to experience for the first time. So we were at a funny kind of story. We were at a football practice the other day, and they have, some noise that they pump in, crowd noise, some band, other different things that you might hear in a football stadium to kind of get used to and work over and the loudness of it. And one of them was the Cornhusker song, and I was singing some of the words, but I didn't know all the words. He's like, "What are you singing?" You actually got to hear it, but they have a female version at the women's sports.
Yeah.
So the Cornhusker song you heard on Saturday, you thought that was a jam. Not quite as good as the Kyle Crooks song, but you did like the jam.
Yeah, you texted me, would you do the Cornhusker song or the Kyle Crooks song if you had to pick? And it's the Kyle Crooks song, which we haven't. By the way, Camden, I don't know if you're listening. We have not played that in quite some time since it debuted originally. So our guy Jim Briggs, who put that song together through artificial intelligence, which is up for a Grammy. I don't know if you knew that. The song is up for a Grammy, but the Cornhusker song is a vibe, as the kids like to say. So I look forward to, maybe we can get some of that for this show later. We could play a little bit of it and jam out.
I thought it was really neat last year that it's been a staple. I don't even know how long since I've been here. Camden, do you know how long that song's been a staple here in the stadium?
He doesn't know.
Oh, okay. So since I've been here, and it gets pretty rocking, on game days. And so I thought it was neat that with the growth of women's sports, and especially, here at Nebraska, across the board, with all of the women's sports being so successful, they had a local band re-record it and write it and tailor it towards the women's sports. So that's what you hear that's in venue for volleyball, women's basketball, softball, soccer, all those sports. So there's 2 different versions now, and I thought that's pretty neat. And again, kind of speaks to the emphasis here at Nebraska that the ladies need their own vibe too.
Of course. Now that the Cornhuskers song gets played, correct me if I'm wrong, for football games between the first and the second quarter. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So I look forward to the first time that we're in Memorial hearing that song. I'm not sure if they're going to play it at Kansas City, considering that's technically a Cincinnati home game. So
yeah, I would imagine first time you'll hear it is that first home game. So
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I liked it, though. The whole deal, and then they unveiled the Big Ten championship banner as well, which was a really cool moment. And just experiencing it for the first time in person, got to listen to JB, also Lauren Cook-West as well. So it was really cool.
Oh, well, okay. So you said you wanted some texts from the chat, and Crypto wants a taste of your call, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to.
No, we can't do that. I don't take requests.
Well, we're not requesting. We're not going to spoil anything. You got to tune in for the first game for his call. But Lauren Cook-West is going to be here on the show this week, so we're going to have her on Wednesday.
That's fun.
So if you have questions for Lauren, let us know. Text on the text line, chat as well. We will ask Lauren. She's always the one. She asks the hard-hitting questions post-game, but she also will post on her social media when she does our podcast with Coach Cook for input from viewers and listeners to if they have any questions for him that they want her to ask him. So I'm not doing the same for those if you want me to ask her on Wednesday.
How tough of a broadcast is that for them, considering that the players are switching uniforms every single set? So one player that was on the red team then would sprint to the locker room, switch to a white uniform, and then the only player that won all 4 sets they played was Rebecca Alec, right? So, but it was hard to keep track if you're JB and Lauren as to who's on what team.
Yeah, I guess luckily for them, they know the squad pretty well. Other than the newcomers, they've seen them play a lot of volleyball. But it was impressive. We're going to hear from Danny Busboom Kelly and her press conference and some of the big takeaways from that coming up in hour number 2. But boy, this team is as advertised, and those young freshmen were as good as what we've heard and see, even the little bits that we've seen. And I think that's one of the things that Danny Busboom Kelly pointed out to is that sometimes that moment's pretty big the first time you step out in front of Devaney. Luckily, they've had a couple different experiences back in the spring, but even some of the, Kenna Cogill, that was her first time, and Ali Czech and Manayo Beche, that was their first experience, and they did not shy away from the moment on Saturday.
Yeah, Therese Sigler for me, and I'm somebody who's still learning the sport. I've seen a bunch of it, but I'm still learning the intricacies of the sport. For me, she really popped right away. That's somebody who you're always seeing number 11 make some plays, a top overall recruit in the nation. And then Kenna Cogill also getting a chance just shows how well she played, that she was in the post-game press conference with Rebecca Alec, and to see how Rebecca speaks of her. And they are stacked when it comes to the middle blockers and the amount that they have right at the net in that middle blocking spot. They are incredibly deep. Will they necessarily need that depth? DBK, as I like to call her, she writing out that starting lineup, right, and coming up with certain rotations to keep everybody happy. And this is something that we had mentioned with JB that when we had him on last week. How do you keep everybody on this roster happy? The depth of this Nebraska team, I think, in itself could maybe be its own top 10 team.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good Nebraska is.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, but they know that that's what they're signing up for when they come to Nebraska, that nothing's going to be handed to them, that every year they're going to bring in, whether it's the top high school class or some of the top transfer portal additions, that's what they sign up for. That's what they want to be in the gym with the best of the best, because most of these players come in that have absolutely the potential to go on and maybe compete for an Olympic gold medal or some of the things that you do past college volleyball. And they want to win national titles, so it's what they sign up for. But it is a tall task to try to figure out how you're going to start narrowing down some of those opportunities. And I think maybe a little bit some of the same conversations we're having with the football team, and maybe some things might change throughout the season. We might be seeing a different lineup, 2 months down the road with this group.
Yeah, I think, and going back to the volleyball conversation, just in general, I think as a recruit, when you've known nothing but success, you think of it this way, Jessica, how hard it is when all you know is being the best at what you do at the level that you're playing at, and then having to take a back seat in a sense for some of these freshmen, some of these transfers that maybe aren't a starter right away. How do you deal with that, being somebody who's number 2 or maybe number 3 on a depth chart when you are nothing but a star coming up? It takes an unselfishness. It takes a team-first mentality for all of these players, specifically on this Nebraska volleyball team, that I think creates a camaraderie, a chemistry, and creates the ability to have a special program.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get to our first break here. We'll talk much more volleyball coming up in hour number 2, and we will hear from Danny Busboom-Kelly following the red-white scrimmage on Saturday, some of her big takeaways, so we'll dive into more of that. But coming up next, it's also the first scrimmage of fall camp for Husker football. It was closed. Very, very limited number of eyeballs on this thing on Saturday.
They locked me out, Jess.
You got kicked out.
They locked me out.
You were the reason why they shut it down.
Probably.
But we did hear from Coach Rule after the scrimmage, and so we're gonna dive into some of that here coming up next. So that will be all coming up here on Sports Nightly, and we're gonna bring back one of the listeners' favorites, our weekend winners, coming up at the end of hour number 2. Camden, David, both going to participate in that. Kyle's going to jump in for the first time, so we'll have that coming up for you in hour number 2 as well. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
You're not at your house. You're at a lavish seaside estate. You're not walking the dog. You're hunting for clues in an Agatha Christie mystery. See it differently with BritBox. Stream an endlessly entertaining collection of British TV, including new original series, Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
Bit awkward, really. I think I might just have solved a murder.
And Outrageous, a scandalous true story.
Seems there's a political extremist in every family these days.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person. It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience. J.D. Power ranked the team at Shelter Insurance #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region 6 out of the last 7 years. For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
See Shelter Agent Derek Hostert in Lincoln, Shelley Wheeler in Grand Island, or Jeff Florum in North Platte today.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. We mentioned before the break that on Saturday, Husker football held a very, very limited eyeballs type of scrimmage on Saturday, so very few people allowed into the scrimmage, but it was the first scrimmage of the fall, and we're going to hear from Coach Rule and his big takeaways from the scrimmage. But first, one of the big kind of news items off the top, I love that Coach Rule's is transparent. Once they've had all go through all the processes of the MRIs, scans, whatever kind of things that you need. You have the conversations with the players and the families. He's pretty upfront and open about injuries and who's available, who's not. And unfortunately, a couple injury notes that he addressed right away on Saturday. Gage Stenger and Bly Hill both out for the season. You hate it. Gage is a guy we've obviously known very well around here, Nebraska kid, and just has worked for an opportunity. Felt like he's going to probably be a big part, especially in special teams. Bly Hill, just hate to hear his name because here's someone that was battling injury. He was probably going to be the starting cornerback last spring, gets hurt in the spring game, and then just could not get fully healthy last year and was back and doing very well, and he's out as well. So you hate to hear those kinds of stories of a guy coming off an injury and starting to get healthy and then re-injured and is back out on the sideline again. So those two other than that, though, he said pretty healthy, other than maybe some soft tissues that guys might be dealing with. But you hate to hear the news for those two guys.
Yeah, it's the variable that you almost have to factor in, but you don't know what's going to happen. Who are you going to have for opening day? And that's still very much the case. As we're, 17 days out from kickoff. You have to get these guys ready, and as you get more and more live reps, so tackling guys down to the ground, the unfortunate byproduct of that is you're going to have some nicks and bruises. So, feel terrible for Gage and Bly. Bly's somebody who was going to play a big part in the secondary, Gage on special teams. So, unfortunate for those two, and look forward to getting them back hopefully next year.
All right, well, let's get into it. One of the first highlights we want to play for you from Coach Rule's press conference is Coach Rule was asked about his big takeaways from scrimmage number 1.
I thought we were really, 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 really efficient on offense. I thought we were able to both run the ball and throw the ball. The one caveat to that is that when the quarterback's not live, sometimes guys are blitzing and running by, and I'm saying stay off them. So, to stop a guy like Dylan, you're going to have to get to the quarterback and affect the quarterback. So there's probably a lot of plays where, guys are blitzing, they have to pull up. And I just think on defense, a lot of good things being done on defense. I just think we have to continue to tackle. We have some elite running backs, and it's really hard to tackle those guys. And so our tackling is something that has to improve based upon we did a Wednesday short yardage live period and today's live period, and we just need those reps. It's the first week of tackling. We're going to have to really improve that this week. You think about it, really 5 more practices till training camp is over, and 9 practices until we start game week. So when I say over, like next Saturday, kind of as you get in the next week, you start a little bit of game planning for 4 days and then game planning full out. So we have a real sense of urgency, and I think tackling is probably the main thing. And then we got some punt, we got some field goals. Really pleased with the field goal operation today. And it looked like the punt. I've never enjoyed punt periods in my life, but it's my favorite period of practice right now. I just could watch Archie punt all day. I've never seen anything like it. So it's like watching a YouTube short. I mean, the guy's amazing. So what he does. So I used to walk over the O-line during punt period, or kind of stand to the side. Now I'm out there like with popcorn because it's really a fun thing to watch. I hope we don't punt a lot, but when we do, it'll be fun.
I love punter talk. Archie Wilson. Everybody loves Archie Wilson. Everybody loves the new guy, especially when they're Australian sensation, and that's what Archie is. He mentioned tackling, and I think that's a common theme for most coaches in the country because, like we mentioned, there's not a whole lot of live reps anymore with the changes in how training camps and fall camps, even not just in college, but in the NFL, it's run so much differently now. So that part has to get cleaned up as much as you can, and not that Coach Rule is counting. You could see him just start to break down how many live reps they have, how many practices they have until the start of the season. So a lot has to get cleaned up, but you heard a lot of good things. I think Coach Rule is very open and honest, as we've said. So if it wasn't that great, we would have heard that. Offensively efficient, Dylan looks good.
Very.
I think Steve Sipple.
Really.
Steve Sipple pointed that out to him, and then Coach Rule said, "Was it 4 that I said, really?" And he said, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm going to have to go back and listen to the tape." But all looks good. Very much what we've seen in practice. I think they probably did a lot of the same things that we've seen in practice in terms of the drills that they ran, especially the scrimmage the other day. Wasn't able to be there in person, but I'm sure a lot of the same things that we've seen up until this point.
I do think it's notable the fact that, because it is easy to just, hey, the offense just won the day. Well, the defensive line is limited as to what they can actually do to the quarterback.
Yeah, they can't hit the quarterback.
So it's, there might be some reps that the defense might have won, but it doesn't necessarily look like that because they're blowing the whistle down. So, we heard from Riley Van Poppel last week, and he talked about the battles, that it's maybe one day to the next, but probably get the sense they're getting probably pretty sick of hitting each other by this point.
That's why you need that Cincinnati uniform sooner rather than later.
All right, so more on Archie Wilson. We had him on the show here, about a month or so ago, and just every bit of what they're talking about, his personality is just awesome. And then, oh, by the way, you throw on the Australian accent. So, but he's loved by his teammates. There's no question about it, but Coach Rule was asked to expand on what amazes him the most about Archie Wilson.
So think about this. We're going to go to Arrowhead Stadium and play at 8 o'clock at night with a kicker who can kick with both feet and kick all the kicks. It'll be the first ever football game he's ever played in, I believe. He's never played in a football game before. Now, he might come up and say, no, I played in – to what Eck told me last night. I knew he was at Pro Kick or whatever, is it Pro Kick? Someone wrote a story about it, right? Pro Kick? I don't want to make sure thank you, Pro Kick. But he's never played in a game before. It'll be his first ever football game. I mean, and he knows every player on the team's name. He's 18 years old. He left his country. He left his family to come here to play a sport he's never played before. There's not a guy on the team that doesn't love him because of his personality, not just because of what he do. So I think, Mitch, it's a multifaceted thing. He's one of the coolest dudes around. He's got so much juice. He's one. Sometimes I'll say something. A lot of guys are like afraid. He'll come back at me with the most witty retort. And then you've seen before when we did Chasing 3 last year. We'd have like talent shows and guys get up and sing. Well, the one team meeting, I wasn't there. We had a head coaches meeting. Susan ran it, and he got up and he sang Piano Man, and it's like, the guy crushed it. So he's just like the most interesting man in the world to me. But I think what's cool about it is just what he can do and the system. We've got athletes out there. He's rolling left. He's rolling right. He can straight punt. He can directional punt. He can banana kick, as I said last time. So there's just a lot of different things. And you should see the guys back there catching punts. Jacory, Mosey, Caleb Benning, Andrew Marshall. I might be forgetting one, but those guys are having to catch all those kicks. So I think we're going to be way better. And we haven't even introduced the south side of the stadium wind yet. So I think it's going to be a really interesting dynamic.
Sing us a song, You're the Piano Man, Mr. Archie Wilson.
Can we get clips of that? We're seeing all these clips go viral on social media from these different camps of those talent shows. We got to get Archie in the running.
I think what we need, Jess, is a Husker radio talent show where we have to each sing and do our own talents. I think we can do that.
I wouldn't finish last, I can tell you that.
That's right. You know what? You can sing, can't you?
Well, I don't know if I would say I can sing,
she
but
can
I
sing.
can.
She can sing. She's hiding it. It's just something that we haven't talked about a whole lot. Anyway, back to what Coach Rule was mentioning with Archie Wilson. I think it's going to be I think it will be a game changer, the way that the rules are in college where you can take off and the gunners can take off at the snap as opposed to NFL. You sort of have to wait until the ball is punted to take off. Because that rollout to one side and the way that he can directionally kick, one, if you're the return team, you're not necessarily going to know which side of the field that you're going to have to set up your return because he can roll out to either side. Like we mentioned, he can kick with both feet. He's essentially superhuman is what we've come to learn here for Archie Wilson. So it is going to make special teams, and we've said it for Nebraska, special teams is better. Could be 1 or 2 wins better. That's how not good special teams has been for Nebraska.
Yeah, and as you learn more and more about the Big Ten and just the weather and the elements, and if you've got a good punter, it's just such a huge weapon. You can flip the field. It is absolutely just vital to win some of these games on what your punter can do and how you can keep flip the field or whatever the need might be. But I'm with Coach Rule. I hope we don't see Archie very much this year.
No, let's not punt a whole lot. But if you can, let's pin him inside the 10.
Okay, so up next is the battle at offensive tackle, which has been a pretty big storyline with Gunnar Gatula having the season that he had, being thrown into the fire last year, really held his own. And has been quite the battle with Elijah Pritchett, the transfer from Alabama. So Coach was asked about that and where that battle stands as of now.
I don't think we're close to being settled. I don't think we're close to being settled at any point. I think really it comes down like this is like for the first assessment, right? This is like your midterm. Really next week's scrimmage is kind of like almost your final, and you go from there. Pritchett's doing a really nice job. Gunner's doing a really nice job. And, as you know, at the other side, like if they're the 2 best tackles, we'll slide one over to right. So it's really a 4-way tackle battle with some other guys fighting to get in too, obviously. But Turner's getting more and more cleared every day. He was able to do the most amount at practice. Now, he couldn't scrimmage with the most amount of reps yesterday that he could do in terms of some of the things he could get involved in. Teddy Prohaska is looking healthy and out there, and he's doing a nice job. Tyler Canuck's doing a nice job. So, I think this week is a really pivotal week, so I'll have to watch this tape to see. But I think, heading into this week, it's a really important time for all 4 of those tackles.
I think that was probably one of the more noteworthy things that Coach Rule had said in that press conference was that Gatula or Pritchett could swing over to that right side. We were thinking so much of, okay, it could be Teddy, it could be Tyler. But he said it a lot with the defense. The best players are going to be on the field no matter what. If that means we're going to have 4 jack position players on the field, we're going to have this amount of safeties, this amount of corners, this amount of D. We're going to put our best guys on the field. If that means Elijah Pritchett maybe swings to right tackle, and that's where he's more comfortable, that's where he played with Alabama, Gunnar Gatula has a lot of time as a left tackle, or Elijah wins that job, and Gunnar has a lot of experience at a tackle position. You put him at right. That makes a whole lot of sense. I think we were trying to dig too deep into, is it Teddy, is it Tyler? Well, no, if Gunnar loses out on one side, he could easily swing to the other.
That was me too. One of the biggest things that I took away from that press conference is that right there, because I do think we were sitting there talking, Gunnar or Elijah, but if Gunnar is the second best tackle, they want the 2 best tackles out there at left and right where they play the best. And so it's not necessarily one guy's going to lose out and then back up the other. If that's the best fit, then that's what they're going to do. So I agree with you there. Okay, so running backs also been a big storyline. I've been one too. I've said that here is not so much I think they have the talent. It's just more so they're pretty young and a little unproven. But as they get young in a hurry is what I've said. But Coach Rule was asked specifically about what they have at running back and the guys backing up Emmett.
No, there's a misconception out there. We got great backs. If anybody doesn't think we have 3 great backs, then can't wait for them to see these guys. I mean, Mosey's a dude. Mackay might be one of the fastest guys I've ever seen going from, first 5 steps. Now they have to go do it in the games, right? Like I'm just talking about in practice right now. I mean, but I think that's a loaded room for us. You know, Kenneth Williams is out there balling. Connor Booth, tell you what, he's just gaining his stride right now. So Emmett obviously has like some pelts on the wall and some pedigree being out there, but you know, Mosey and Mackay are making a tremendous push. Quinton's still out, you know, so we're hoping we get Quinton back this week. But those other guys have just raced ahead. And they both can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they both can protect. You know, EJ does such a good job, but you can't play on our offense if you can't protect. And so they do a nice job of that. But, you know, we moved Genatone over to tailback. You know, so we have a 230-pound guy that runs, you know, 22.5 miles per hour. So he had some good runs today, and we're hoping he can I'm hoping he can get in that I formation and, you know, short yardage and go get that yard when you need it. I know Emmett can, but can we have another guy like Genatone that can? So I'm really pleased with that room. I have some concerns. That's not the concern for me.
The perception of what that room was going to be, right? We knew Emmett was going to be one going into camp. Quinton Ives was going to be the number 2. And unfortunately, things happened. I think it was the first drill of the first day. He came up lame, and he hasn't been able to be out there consistently. He's still working through that injury. I believe it was a hamstring that Coach Rule had said. And they are really, really high on these two guys. Mackay Nelson, I think probably if you were to rank it 1, 2, 3, it's Emmett, Mackay, and then Isaiah. The one question that I had when I talk to people at practice is how are these guys in pass protection? Because you have to protect the franchise. Most teams are going to take a big dip when you have to go to that number 2 quarterback. So how do we prevent that from happening? That's having guys that invite that physicality. I was talking with somebody today who said Isaiah Mosey is one of those players that really invites the physicality of the game. I think he'll excel in that situation. I have to ask more about what this program thinks of Mackay and pass protection situations, but between Coach Rule and Coach Holgerson, they have said glowing things and then some about Mackay Nelson and the jump that he's made.
Yeah, and I think you and I both have seen Connor Booth, and Coach Rule even bragged on him. I think he's done some really nice things for a true freshman and what he's been able to do, hopping right in. And so they're excited about the group. There's a lot of talent there. It's just more so, I think, for me, what I've said is that they haven't done it in the game yet. So that's where I kind of stood going into that one. Last clip we wanted to play for you real quickly is just what is Coach Rule's message for the team as they enter the 3rd week of camp?
I think a lot of it's me watching the tape first. As I think I said to them, I said, you know, coming out of scrimmage, it's what did I do well? You know, what did I not do well? What do I need to improve upon? And what's my plan? I think as I look at it, you know, defensively, it's just certainly continuing to tackle, right? Continuing to run the right angles and tackle. Continuing to, you know, situational football. You know, we've been doing a lot of 2-minute stuff. We didn't do any today. It was more like 1st and 2nd down, red zone. And then we did work 2-point plays as if it was overtime. The kicking game, you know, we got to continue to master the field goal and, you know, field goal rush. So we'll try to get better at everything, but I think there's some key things, like I said, the 2-minute end of game stuff on offense and certainly on defense, tackling and just continue to give the guys a chance to be game ready. Because the first football games, you know, Cincinnati's an excellent team. The first game of the year usually comes down to tackling and special teams, and so we want to make sure we as coaches give the guys the best chance to do that.
So this week will be a separator. We know that. Week 3 in camp usually is. This is the cliche, as this is the dog days of camp. This is when guys can win jobs, can lose jobs. There's going to be another scrimmage most likely at the end of this week that's going to give more answers to the test here for this coaching staff. So you would think that the 2 deep might pretty much be set at the end of this week.
Hey, breaking news for the Husker football social media accounts. We do have our first 2 officially announced single-digit numbers, so you can start updating your charts.
Can I do a breaking news sounder thing?
Yes, come on.
Breaking news.
Where's the jingle to go along with it?
We'll work on it. I'll talk to my team.
Number 6, Dane Key. Number 5, Riley Van Poppel. I think those are 2 guys we both mentioned in the conversation that could be guys that get those, but they're the first 2 that have officially been announced here, the new ones, I guess, here today.
So Dane, that was his number at Kentucky, 6, and 5 didn't used to feel like a defensive lineman number, but it is now. But it is now. Single digits are defensive line numbers. So Now you have to backfill. Okay, who's going to take Dane Key's 18? Who's going to take Riley Van Poppel's 44? Although 44 is not really a desirable number anyway. You never know.
Luke Lindemeyer might disagree with that. Although Luke Lindemeyer might be a guy that gets
for a
single
defensive
digit.
lineman, though, a tight end maybe, nose tackle.
Riley Van Poppel's the kind of guy he doesn't really care what number he wears. He's just
well, he's a single-digit guy now, so.
Yep, so that is awesome. Congratulations. And again, going back to his story and being a team guy last year, redshirting, waiting his time, and I know he is very, very well respected in that locker room, and as you can see now, he is a single-digit number. Okay, we got to get to a break. More from Sports Nightly coming up after this.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Jan from Toyota here with live coverage of end of summer fun at Toyota's national sales event with my special guest, Eli Manning.
Thanks, Jan. Let's get into it.
Down by the lake for some fishing, we've got Eric in his Tundra. He throws his line, and he's going long!
Heck of a team effort there. That Tundra got him exactly where he needed to be.
There's excitement in the stadium parking lot with the Davis family tailgating in their new Sequoia.
All eyes are on Dad manning the grill. He grabs some buns from the cargo area of the Sequoia and flips. And look at that! What a way to close this one out.
Sure was, Eli. Until next time, go Toyota!
See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 2nd. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, or Corwin Toyota of Bellevue.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Josh Ahrens in Kearney, Scott Vermas in La Vista, or Dennis Malloy in Bellevue today.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica
Uncle
Coody.
Cracker.
Kyle
Let's
is
go.
loving the bumper music, David. David's the DJ
well
tonight.
Done. Well done. That's one of my favorite songs growing up, back in my heyday,
Uncle
back in the
Cracker guy.
60s, yeah.
I just learned more and more about you every day, Uncle Cracker. Okay?
That's a great song.
Maybe
Great
he'll
song.
come to PBA sometime soon. I don't know. They have a lot of different repertoire of musical artists.
Creed was there the other day. I didn't get to see that. I think Maroon 5 will be there. I think we mentioned that.
T-Pain is coming up in October.
Yeah, you texted me that, and I said, dreams really do come true. T-Pain is coming to Lincoln, Nebraska, so I look forward to being there.
All right, well, in case you missed it just before the break, breaking news is we have the first 2 official single-digit guys. Riley Van Poppel, number 5. Dane Key, number 6. We'll hear from Danny Busboom Kelly coming up in hour number 2 here in just a few minutes. But she also mentioned, too, that the volleyball captains will probably be announced either right before or right after the alumni match. So we will know those leaders as well very shortly. I know that's always a big thing that people want to know all about, and who's going to be the captain, who's going to wear those single digits. So starting to know more and more here with those 2 teams. Other big news of the day is the AP Top 25 was officially announced. We heard the coaches' Top 25 poll, but now the AP poll is out for the first time ever. Texas coming in at number 1. The closest preseason vote since 1998. How about that? And Texas is the underdog. They play Ohio State in their Week 1 matchup, and the first top-ranked team to be an underdog Week 1 dating back to 1978 per ESPN stats. How about that? So
I like
Texas
it.
is number 1, and they're the underdog going into that matchup against Ohio State.
So this is from Brett McMurphy of On 3. He mentioned if you're preseason number 1 of the past 21 of them, preseason number 1 AP-ranked teams, 19 have failed to win a national title. So it's not probably not the best news if you're preseason number 1. Now, Nebraska did receive votes. They had 23 votes to be in the top 25. So they're right on the brink. Probably would put them at 33, 34th best team according to the AP in the country. So if you're heading into, I would say if Nebraska is 3-0 heading into Michigan, there might be a good chance that'll be ranked on ranked. Michigan is preseason 14. So the SEC leads the way. They have 10 preseason top 25 teams. The Big Ten is in second. They have 6. The Big 12 has 4, and the ACC has 3. The Mountain West has Boise State, and an independent Notre Dame has 1. So for Nebraska, that would put only 2 of the preseason top 25 are on their schedule this year. Of course, the number of ranked teams could change as we go, but that will be Penn State and Michigan are the only 2 ranked teams that are currently on Nebraska's schedule. But again, of course, that could change.
Anything else surprise you about the AP? I know, again, we talked a lot about the coach. There's some differences between this one and the Coaches Bowl, but anything about the AP?
No, nothing really shocks me, especially when you look at the Big Ten. I think we thought Penn State, Ohio State would be some variation of 2 or 3. You expected Indiana to be in the top 25, Oregon for sure to be a top 10 preseason team. I think everybody is really high on Illinois and what they have coming back, their quarterback returns as well. So nothing shocks me from the Big Ten. I think the SEC is what you think it is. All the preseason hype doesn't surprise me that they have the most and 10 teams. Big 12, I think that's a conference that is up for grabs. I don't think you have any idea who might win that conference. I think Cincinnati fans might think they have a shot to win that conference, especially if they have an opportunity to have a big win to start things off. But nothing really pops out in terms of really shocking.
All right. Good stuff. We'll get to a break. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly, final segment here of hour number 1 of Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Listen, I'm defending myself. I was talking. I did not hear the music. Kyle heard it. I was following his lead. He got the song wrong. It was Matchbox 20. So
Matchbox 20, which is a great band. I just got my 90s, early 2000s, I don't know when that song came out, my nostalgia mixed up. Matchbox 20 was the artist of that song, not Uncle Kracker, although Uncle Kracker does have some bangers out there. Just incredibly unfortunate. I want to take this time to apologize to our audience about my music knowledge because that was a big swing and miss, and it won't happen again.
Our Matchbox 20 fans, Kyle, apologize. Please don't come after us. It was not me. I'm not helping you out on that one, buddy, because I didn't hear it.
You don't listen. I don't think you even listen to music or watch movies or television.
I do listen to music. I listen to a lot of music. I've got a vast knowledge.
Artist of choice?
I don't have one. I listen to, I'm telling you, you go through my song list, it's crazy. I got some rap, I got some Drake, I got some T-Pain, I got some country, I've got some, actually some Matchbox 20, you know, I've got literally everything in my
Okay, so you listen
playlist.
to Drake like 98% of this country. What else? You're not giving me artists, though. You're giving me... What's your favorite artist? Like, if you had to drop...
I really don't have a favorite artist. I'll tell you who is on my bucket list that I wish Troy Dana would maybe get in, because I think he'd put on a great show.
We're making requests now. Okay.
Is Bruno Mars, I think, would put on. I've heard he is great in concert.
Well, he did the Super Bowl back when it was in New York, New Jersey, back in the day, in 2013 that was.
So who would be your number one in the stadium then, if we're talking about bringing in music acts?
Probably Coldplay or Post Malone.
You've seen Coldplay 9 times?
Bunch. Yes, a bunch in stadium, too. It's made for a stadium show.
Camden saw Coldplay this
So
year.
they actually played Camp Randall in Wisconsin this summer because somebody that works on their tour is from Wisconsin, so that was the connection why they went to Camp Randall. So they've done college stadiums before, so if Troy's listening, maybe he can help me out there.
I think I've heard Coldplay puts on a great show.
You know what? Let's bring Matchbox 20 here just so I can apologize for my mistake.
Andrew Kramer says, I'll keep an eye out for an angry Rob Thomas and try to distract him.
Yeah.
So.
You know, Goo Goo Dolls are playing down the street in Vista.
Oh, you going to go check that out?
Yeah, I would not mess up a Goo Goo Dolls song. I know them really well.
Garth was incredible here.
I've heard.
Amazing. I think Taylor Swift would be another one that would sell out a stadium.
I think she could sell out on Saturn. She could sell out a stadium. It doesn't matter where you put it.
I think she'd be a good option for the stadium. So
we'll see her in Kansas City.
She's also, hopefully she's on the sideline. She's also, I'm a Swiftie. So Lauren Cook and West and I have that in common. We're both
You're a Swiftie. Have you seen her in concert?
I have not.
Okay, that's
I would
a shame.
like to. It's on my bucket list. So I've put that out here on the show. So I like Swiftie. I'm a Taylor Swift fan. So yeah.
Oh, how daring of you. You and everybody else. Taylor
There's
Swift and Drake.
Listen, there's
Jessica's
a lot of Swiftie
favorites.
haters on this show.
I'm not one of them, though.
All right, we got to get to our break here.
We need
Hour
to reset.
number 2. Just ahead, we're going to hear from Danny Busboom Kelly and our weekend winners. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter Agent Travis Hawk in Scottsbluff, Jim Mowinkle in Gretna, or Shane Bernhardt in Norfolk.
Good evening. I'm Camden Cohn, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. Earlier today, the Big Ten Conference announced that 3 Husker soccer players were named to the Big Ten Preseason Players to Watch list. Reagan Robbie, Lauren Anglem, and Sadie Waite were the Nebraska players on the list. The Big Ten also released their preseason poll, and the Huskers were projected to finish 12th out of 18 teams. In other Husker news, Petra Bojan was named to the All-Star 5 after her performance in the FIBA Eurobasket Division B Championships in Hungary over the last week. She averaged just over 13 points and 6 rebounds over 7 games for Croatia. And finally, it's another busy day in Major League Baseball. Currently, in the top of the 8th, the Phillies lead the Reds 2-1. In the bottom of the 2nd, the Rockies and Cardinals are scoreless. In the bottom of the 4th, where the Yankees lead the Twins 3-0. In the top of the 2nd, the Nationals out to a 2-0 lead over the Royals. In the bottom of the 2nd, in Chicago, where the White Sox trail the Tigers 1-0. And in the top of the 2nd, the Brewers lead the Pirates 1-0. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit stonebridgeiwm.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
The Sejan behind the screen, dances around, has he moved, pump fake, out it comes to Jacobson, puts it up and in! Holy smokes! Way to go, Kale! Kale Jacobson from Ashland, Nebraska, into the starting lineup 3 games ago, hits a huge, humongous, gigundous 3.
Runs and deals. Ball swings and lets the fly ball to left. Colvin going back to the wall, and it's good! Home run, Jordy Bull! A towering drive to left field by Jordy Bull, and that ties the school record for home runs in a season by a Husker. Allie Viola, you've got company. It's the best player in college softball with her 3rd home run of the weekend, Jordy Bull.
Bump set left. Almodovar's in the front row. She tips it. Doug. Huskers own it. Set left. Harper again. Over dig and out. Point Harper Murray in the big red. She's carrying them. That's 18 kills for Harper. It's 25-24 Nebraska.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
And welcome back, hour number 2, Sports Nightly. We're not having any fun here tonight with Kyle Crooks and Jessica Coody. Camden Cohn was on the ticker there, and you were questioning because Jim Briggs on the chat said something about Conway Twitty. You were confused about that. We've got to bring you up to speed. Some of the guys on the chat thinks that Camden looks like Conway Twitty.
Okay, I'm going to have to.
You got to Google it.
I remember Conway Twitty was a joke on Family Guy. I know you don't watch television, especially cartoons. But that was a recurring joke, so I'll have to compare and contrast there to see if. Apparently, the top of my head was in Camden's update.
Get out of his shot.
My apologies. When I see a camera, I just have to get involved.
Just
you know how
magnet
it is.
to you. Hey, so Art in Los Angeles says, I'm going to get in trouble with a few of the guys in the Husker Discord group that they have going for saying this, but he's a Swiftie too.
Who is now?
Appreciate that. Art in Los Angeles.
Okay, Art.
He's on the Swiftie train with Lauren Cook-West and me. So Lauren, again, will be on Wednesday, so we'll have to bring that up with her. And then Crypto in the chat has asked a few different times, a few different questions, but I'll get to one of them. What do you like to eat in the booth? Whatever's available at the press box.
I think whatever that buffet provides me, I'm going to be all in. As I said last week, and you'll get to realize, maybe you won't because you're down on the sidelines, maybe Damon and Ben will realize I'm a big buffet guy. If it's free and it's a buffet, I will take advantage, full advantage.
Well, that's where I feel like that GoPro on your head could come into a kind of a factor to see what you're kind of taking in on
what
the
my
buffets.
nutrition choices are, what my day is like as an announcer. I think we're working on the details.
Regimented on food.
I am, but if it's
so, does buffet can you find something on a buffet if it's not healthy?
As they say, calories in a buffet don't count.
Okay,
that's a real slogan. It's actually the title of my third book. But no,
Where can we buy the first two?
They got taken off the shelves. They didn't do well. They didn't sell well on Amazon. So that's the third one.
Dang.
Third time's a charm, as they say. One day I'll write a book. But yes, if it's semi-healthy and it's in a buffet, you can count on me that I will partake as much as possible.
What's the other question that Crypto asked? So he's all in on the buffet, whatever's
He mentioned,
provided.
I want to go back because I don't want to miss it. He mentioned
he asked about John Cook.
Yes.
Will John Cook be in attendance and be helping Danny Busboom Kelly? You know, again, we can ask Lauren about that. I think Coach Cook will be around, but I think he's going to do whatever is comfortable for everybody. I don't think he's going to be as prominent as maybe some people think. I think he'll take a step back and let Danny do her thing, but help wherever she needs him to help.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. I think he'll know what that right amount of time around the program. A lot of these are still his players, right? So you'd expect him to be around for some matches and for some big matches, and whenever Danny needs some sort of help or advice, I'm sure he's going to be there for sure.
Okay, let's hear from the new head coach, Danny Busboom Kelly, following the red-white scrimmage. Very competitive. We saw some great rallies, lots of good things from. I think the biggest thing that people keep taking away is just how loaded, how deep this room is. She had opened up just talking about how impressed she was with some of the youngsters and how they performed there under the lights for the first time. But the first clip we're going to play for you is if she got what she wanted out of the red-white scrimmage on Saturday.
You know, sure. Of course, it'd be nice to walk away from here and be like, oh, this was obvious. So-and-so should start, or, you know, this person played great under pressure. But we wanted to have a lot of even teams and have a competitive game, and you know, we did that, and we saw some players step up in big moments, which was great. But it also showed a few things we have to work on, and that hopefully will be better in the alumni match next week.
And that's what you expect is the evaluation of a coach. It's not going to be all positive. There's going to be some negative, although from a fan's perspective, I think you took a lot of positivity away from that inter-squad scrimmage in terms of the amount of depth and how in the heck is she going to put together a lineup.
Yeah, that's it. I would not want that job. I would not want to be on that coaching staff trying to figure out that opening day starting lineup.
It's a good problem to have, Jess, but problems are still problems, right? Because you're still going to have people that are upset that they're not seeing the amount of playing time that they want.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, like you said, it's a good thing that nobody really separated themselves, but also you wish maybe that some of those answers would have been answered. But I think some of those position battles you saw some really good flashes from a lot of those players at different times. So let's talk about one of those, the setters, the setting group. She was asked about those two, Bergen and Campbell, and how they handled it and what she saw out of the setters.
Really good overall. You know, I thought both Campbell and Bergen were solid and played great. They both served great, played great defense. So, you know, they're both studs. I've been saying it all year. I truly believe we have the best setter group in the country.
And it's hard to deny that when you have somebody who has had 2 consecutive years as the best setter in the conference and then the number 1 overall recruit. Like you said, a lot of these position battles are even, and you know, Danny Busboom Kelly likes to work a 2-setter system a lot of the time too. So you could see those two on the floor at the same time. So that is going to be one that when you watch the alumni match, which will be this coming Saturday, I'm sure those are 2 that you're going to continue to watch.
She was asked to what will determine who wins that battle ultimately at the setter position. She said leadership and who wins more. And so I wonder when that cutoff spot would be, because maybe as you start honing in, and that's a question that I want to ask Lauren, because it's a little bit like naming a starting quarterback when you got a quarterback battle. You probably want to shore that up pretty soon so that you have that time to really work out the setters with the group that's going to be out there first. But with as much as she mixes and matches, she might push it a little bit longer than what teams typically do when there's a battle at that position. So one of the interesting things, one of the stat lines was the teams hit below 200 hitting percentage. And so she was asked, is that a testament to the defense being really good or maybe being really aggressive in terms of going after it? So here was her answer to that.
Yeah, both. I think our defense is very good, but we were taking risks. And, Harper was hitting like 400 and she hit 2 balls out in a row, but they were hard. We're challenging our team to like rip it, not tip it. So whether it's in or out right now, I want them to get comfortable going after it.
Rip it, not tip it.
We need that on a T-shirt.
That's the title of my 4th book, actually. Yeah, it's coming out in 2 years. So if you're gonna make mistakes, I got Jess. She's lost it because
my
I'm
gosh.
so
I was
funny.
thinking on a T-shirt. So, okay.
Yes, we put it on a T-shirt. But now's the time to make some mistakes. And I was sitting along the baseline of one of the ends on the right on the court. And I was at the receiving end of a couple of Harper Murray kills or near kills, ones that were just out. And when you're at floor level, you see the velocity in which these things are really coming at you, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. And I, that's what she was talking about, Ali Check, that she didn't think that she's seen her tip it once throughout fall camp or the preseason practices, and that she loved that about it. She wants to see him rip it, and I think that'll make a lot of Husker fans really, really happy. So, really cool moment before the match. Rebecca Alec was awarded as the lifter of the year, and her reaction just so precious. But, that was voted on by the team, and so she got that. It's pretty prestigious within the program, and so that was Rebecca Alec. But she had a heck of a match, too. And, in fact, Danny Busman-Kelly had this to say about Rebecca Alec on Saturday.
I thought she was the player of the game, and we were kind of joking in the locker room. She had the most attempts. So that's because we overpassed and overdug so many balls. But I'm like, kudos for her for killing all those. So I just thought she was super aggressive. She was communicating at the end. I think everybody was tired and like, oh, maybe it's time to go home. And, the only person I could hear on the court was Rebecca. And so just impressive day for her.
16 kills for her. And we mentioned with all the changing between the different uniforms of red and white, she was the only one that went a perfect 4-0 in that scrimmage. But you could see the emotion on her face when they awarded her the lifter of the year. She was almost in tears. It was between one of the sets or during a timeout. And the celebration with her teammates as she lifted the trophy over her head, and the veteran experience that she has, and just how much of a leader she is. You see it in the press conferences. We saw it at Big Ten Media Days. She is a different breed of not just player, but person.
She's very convicted going into her senior year. I mean, this is someone that's a local kid that has that making a dream come true, being a Husker, has fallen short, and it haunts her that she hasn't won a national title yet. I go back to the conversation I had with her back in May, and even though they were talking on the Nebraska Public Television, the TV broadcast about just even her offensive numbers last year, and it was really improved, and she's going to be even more targeted, as we saw, and Danny Busman-Kelly addressed and said, hey, we're going to set the middles. We're not going to be begging for STM because it's going to happen this year. So you're going to see her even more involved in that regard. But she was not, Rebecca felt like she had a letdown last year and that she wasn't as good as she could have been. And so, boy, she dedicated herself to the weight room, to working out, to all those things, and went at it all in. And, it's proven, and that's what, Danny had said, that she's on a different level. I mean, she has just been unbelievable throughout the preseason practices, and so it's showing in her performances and that's not something that you just do in a couple weeks. It's something that you have to do over a long span of time, and dating back to when the season ended back in December. And she hit the ground running, and what she did throughout from January, throughout spring practices, and even into the summer. I mean, this is someone that is making sure she's leaving no stone left unturned going into her senior season. All right, so the other position battle, big one, big storyline here this fall is the liberos, and who's going to be the next starting libero replacing Lexi Rodriguez. It's also been quite the battle as well. So here was Danny's response on the liberos' performances on Saturday.
Yeah, they're both, neck and neck every day. So you can probably flip a coin, but, it's going to be a lot about who can command the court and, who makes the little plays look easy.
And I think command the court is a phrase that when you look at Eleni Choboy, who's probably more demonstrative and somebody who's more vocal than Liv Malk, but I think both played really well. Looking at it from a novice perspective and the things that you read, both were pretty even in their performance. So as she said, when that's the case, it comes down to flipping a coin at that position, and you're replacing a program legend in Lexi Rodriguez, and you think of the weight that's on your shoulders for either one of those two, who in the end sees the bulk of the reps as a libero, of what that means specifically in this program. It's a lot.
Yeah, and it was fascinating just hearing John Baylor talk about that on Friday when we had him on the show. Just two completely different. Liv's more of the quiet, calm, cool, collected lane. He's more of that, boy, she's the Energizer Bunny. And she just, the energy that she brings, she just induces electricity when she steps out onto the court. So, that one's going to be, I think both are going to obviously play a big role. It just will be who will be that libero come the starter. And also something that might change. You never know with this group. All right, so the last clip we wanted to play for you on those freshman middles also got a lot of attention, a lot of talk on Saturday. Manaya Obeche and Kenna Cogill, who were really impressive, both in their debuts, because those were two players that were not here in the spring. So those were two players playing in the Devaney in front of Husker Nation for the very first time. Here is what Danny had to say about those freshman middles.
Yeah, super impressive. And Kenna, it's unique because she was a really late commit for us. And, she knows that we were kind of teetering. Do we want a fourth middle? Do we not? Is she the right one? And, we decided to pull a trigger, and she took a risk knowing she was going to come here with three middles that, we were really comfortable with. And she's just been so good in practice. She's that player. You look at the stats every day and you're like, wow, Kenna did amazing. So she's just a quiet killer. She's going to get the ball and do something great with it. And I thought she was fantastic today.
Yeah, a quiet killer, I think, is a good way to put it. And that goes back to the conversation of it's going to be hard to sit a Kenna Cogill, but when you have Andy Jackson and Rebecca Alec right in front of her, and she was a late commit. She was going to Oregon, but that a coaching change at Oregon had changed things for her, and so then all of a sudden she has to fit into a program as a freshman pretty late in the process, and for somebody that young to do what she's doing, and first time, bright lights, you're sold out, John Cook Arena, you're on television, and for her to put together that performance is pretty cool.
I also had a chance to talk with both of those players, right? Really pretty close to once they got here and got settled in. They're living together. They're roommates. So I had a chance to chat with them. If you missed that, it's on our YouTube channel. I highly recommend going and checking it out because you'll love them even more. You love them for what they do on the court, but off the court as well. Two great personalities and going to be fun stories. And whether they can end up redshirting them or not, that's the future right there. There's no doubt about it. And you got to be excited when those two are the two that you're looking at for the future. There's no question. They are super, super talented and bright, bright futures. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Got to get to a break. More from Sports Nightly coming up after this.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See Shelter agents Pete Voles or Brent Ruggo in North Platte, or in Broken Bow, see agent Brent Custer.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Kyle Crooks, I'm Jessica Coody. In case you missed it, we talked about it in the first hour, a little bit of breaking news as the first couple of single digits had been announced with Dane Key and Riley Van Poppel. And just over the last couple minutes or so, Husker Football has put out a video, another one of Coach Rhule's walk and talks that he's been doing that I think has been highly entertaining and informative, but it was with Dane Key, and he announced that Dane Key was actually the highest vote getter of those. The team votes on that, on who the guys they want to wear single-digit numbers. So also that the guys that got the number last year, the single digits last year, would keep those. Now, I don't know if we know for sure if that is going to be Vincent Schaefer still wearing number 1, but for sure that means 3, Marquise Buford, 7, Malcolm Hartzog, 8, Deshaun Singleton. So if you take 5 and 6 out of the mix, that leaves 2, 4, and 9, and we'll see about 1. But so at least 3 more left for Coach Rhule and this staff to hand out.
And if I could make a recommendation, if we can do those sooner
Tonight.
rather than later.
Tonight.
Just for my memorization and my spotting charts, that'd be great. But awesome honor for Dane. It's probably what we expected, right,
yeah.
Jess? We expected Dane, who came in and got the highest number of votes, to get that single digit. He's a leader on the team. I think the expectation is for him to be an all Big Ten performer. I think there's part of that expectation, too, for Riley Van Poppel. You highlighted perfectly in the first hour the unselfishness of him taking that sort of, in a way, a luxury redshirt year, although I'm sure he wanted to be out there playing, but he understood where things were with Tyan Nash and some of the others on the defensive line, what his playing time would have looked like, and using that redshirt year to the fullest of his capabilities to get where he is right now, and that is to be somebody that this defense is going to rely heavily on and fight against that narrative of what people think this defensive line might be from the outside just based on what it lost.
There's a lot of guys that you could throw in that conversation, which I know we've had that conversation. I think Heinrich Harburg could be a guy that maybe gets one of those single digits. Emmett Johnson, maybe Dylan. I don't know if those guys switch their numbers. I don't know if Dylan would switch.
Branding-wise, I mean, I know Emmett Johnson loves 21. I know Dylan Raiola's big on 15. It's kind of I feel like it's part of who they are. Maybe I could be wrong, just sort of the way that they brand themselves with their number. Other options for that.
Wright.
Javen Wright could be, especially, I mean, you heard Coach Rule talk about Javen Wright on Saturday, just his smile, the way that he attacks every day, based on all the health things that he's gone through. And was football ever going to be part of his future was sort of in doubt. So that's a great point, Jess. I could definitely see Javen Wright getting a single digit.
And Elijah Judy might be a guy that you could throw in that conversation potentially.
Cam Lenhart, maybe. Did you mention him?
Offensive linemen will probably get voted on one, but it'll just be honorary, just because they can't wear those single digits. But I think we'll probably hear an offensive lineman's name in that voting list. So there's a few there that I think will be fascinating to see who gets those other 3, maybe 4, depending on Vincent Schaefer's. And then there's a trickle-down effect of when the guys' numbers that are moving to those single digits, and then somebody else who's into theirs. And so your whole chart is going to have
It's going to get all out of whack, but it's a small price to pay. The good thing about being allowed to be at practice all the time is you just sort of know these guys from their body types and the way they move. So it's a little bit different because you're around all the time. But yeah, I'd love this to happen sooner rather than later, Jess.
I think a lot of people would like the starting lineup folks, the social media folks. So we will see. I wouldn't be surprised if we started to hear the rest of them by the end of this week or early next week for sure. Also mentioned earlier, volleyball, expect to hear those captains announced probably either right before, as Danny mentioned, right before the alumni match or right after. But that's going to be fun. I know it's going to be exciting for a lot of Husker fans to see some of those Husker greats. I reached out to Allie Batenhorst to see if we could get her on the show this week as well. That'd be fun. Just talk about her moving over to Beach as well, coming back and playing. So there's a lot of big names playing on that. And you can get a sense that Danny's expecting to learn a lot from her team playing against some of those really well-known but also very talented, and some of them still playing Huskers on the other side.
Think of it from the alumni perspective. You want to win. Like you want to show what the old guard has for what is supposed to be preseason number 1. People are saying this is the best Husker team, and that's saying a lot in quite some time. So if you're an alum, you got to show the current team what's what and get them right for the season. So it's be interesting to see the competitive levels from the alumni side, the current Husker side, and see how that works out on the court.
Well, mentioned last week on Friday, had a big-time announcement with Husker women's basketball, and Maddie Stewart, the combo guard out of Tulsa, Oklahoma for Lincoln Christian, one of the top recruits in the state of Oklahoma, got another big one. This is the one that I was teasing that I couldn't say yet because it wasn't official, but coming out officially on Saturday. Ashlyn Copel, who is the number 1 recruit out of the state of South Dakota, top 10 ranked national recruit, anywhere from 3 to 5 in the nation ranked power forward. But this is someone that was wanted by so many of the major women's basketball programs across the country, and a huge get for Amy Williams. Back-to-back announcements there of really big gets for that 2026 class.
Momentum is a real thing when it comes to recruiting, because if you're a young player and you see those two going to Nebraska, you see that, okay, there's something there. And I texted Julian Asibe earlier today because I wanted to get the lowdown on Maddie and Ashlyn to see what Husker fans are going to get. He said this about Maddie, said she's a winner, does whatever it takes to win, guards the best player on the other team, can rebound, score, breeds toughness, also plays softball as well. And for Ashlyn, top 10, as you mentioned, top 10 recruit in some places, number 31 according to ESPN. elite scorer, can score from the inside, outside as a rim protector, and also plays volleyball as well. So multi-sport athletes, I feel like coaches now tend to want players who don't focus on just one sport but have different skill sets and play a bunch of different sports. And that's what you're getting out of these two. A lot of momentum. Not just we saw the transfer pieces that were brought here in Nebraska for women's basketball and how important that is now. But high school recruiting is still very, very important, and you get those right pieces that can help continue to a tradition and a foundation, and that's what you got in these two players.
Yeah, and Amy Williams has talked about that. I mean, they are going to put an emphasis, high school recruiting, building within the program, and then you supplement with the portal, a lot like what Coach Rulin and his staff likes to do, and so it's going to be a big emphasis, and they got some big ones to go along with Ava Miles, who committed about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she's out of Kansas City. I actually got a chance to meet with her as well, wants to maybe get into sports broadcasting, so really special group that they've got assembled for that 2026 class. I mean, this group is loaded, and so to go along with some of the talent that they've already built and that will be coming back by the time this class gets in there, I mean, it's big things to come for Husker women's basketball, and you mentioned a lot of momentum. There's a lot of good things happening with this women's basketball program.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get out there. For me, I live close enough to Pinnacle Bank Arena where I can just walk to all the games and be able to, I did a lot of women's basketball at Florida, so I've been around the game for a long time, and I've seen it from the SEC's perspective, so I'm excited to see it from the Big Ten perspective this year.
And Petra Bojan, as Camden had in the ticker, had a big week representing. She's playing, what was exactly where she's playing, but was unbelievable playing for her home country, was named as part of the top 5, basically one of the all-stars of the tournament that she was playing in. And she's someone coming off a freshman year where she caused a lot of problems for some teams because she could step out and knock down that top of the key 3, and as she was a late addition last summer, but as she continues to grow in her game and gets more physical, but that's another one of those young pieces that was a freshman last year, had a big season as a freshman, and it's carried over into the summer, getting to play some international ball, and then now going into her sophomore season. I expect her to make a big jump as well.
I think both sides, there's a lot of momentum, not just on the women's side, but you talk to a lot of people on the men's side, there's a lot of excitement there as well. So when you look ahead to the winter sports in both men's and women's basketball specifically, I think there's a lot of positive and a lot of reason to head out to PBA to watch games this year, because there's going to be a lot of great games, but I think it's going to be 2 great teams this year.
Absolutely. So big news there for Nebraska women's basketball. They had a couple big-time commitments going back-to-back on Friday and Saturday. So big news there for Amy Williams and company. They've been working hard on the recruiting trail, and it is paying off. All right, we got to get to a break. More Sports Nightly coming up after this.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See Shelter Agent Rhonda Miller in Alliance, Stephanie Culver in Holdridge, or Jonna Austin in Fairbury.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Segments left here on this Monday night edition of Sports Nightly. Kyle Crooks, I'm Jessica Coody, and listen, I'm not one that normally likes to feed into clickbait, but it was all over my social media today. Andy Staples of On3 posted a graphic of what he considers to be the current blue bloods of college football. And there's a list of 12. I think that's a little too many for a list of blue bloods, but that's okay. But listen to this list. Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oklahoma, Miami, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Ohio State, Texas, USC. And then he had on the graphic, missed out, Nebraska, Clemson, Florida, Auburn, and Penn State. And I think they, sometimes they feed into that because they know Nebraska fans are going to respond and amp up the views and tweets and all of that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I don't think he got it right, personally. I mean, my bias aside, I think it's a little bit too many, and I don't know. I just don't agree with the list. What do you think, Kyle?
I'd probably take off Florida State. Probably would take off. I know you worked at Oklahoma. Probably would take no, because Oklahoma has a long history. We're just sort of more of a recency bias, I think, for me. And you think of the rivalry with Nebraska as well, and they had so many good teams. USC, I think, to me, is limited in terms. If you're talking about blue bloods, I'm not quite sure USC for me is in that conversation. I think Alabama, very much so. Georgia, very much so. LSU.
Tennessee needs the boot.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee, a lot of those good years in the late 90s. Tennessee probably, I think, my old place in Florida probably has a better argument maybe to be in there than
Florida was
Tennessee.
On the miscut list with Nebraska.
I think Nebraska, well, we're going to be biased. Why not? So let's just throw Nebraska in there. But if you think of over the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, pretty relevant all the way up through, it's been a struggle the last 10 years, but pretty relevant under Bo Pelini. Like you're talking about a large stretch of time from the 60s, even if you want to go further, but from the 60s to like 2010, Nebraska's relevant. So I'm going to throw Nebraska in the blue bloods. Not obviously I'm wearing the logo, so that might.
But even look at the viewership, the amount of care there is for a program. I mean, how many times do you hear some of the analysts from across the country or anybody that knows college football talk about the best fan bases here. So to me, like, you have to factor that in, besides just the winning, is also what's driving up the numbers and the viewers and the care factor. For how many times do we hear college football is better when Nebraska is good? So I think you have to maybe factor in that part of it too, just the amount of care and amount of people paying attention to Nebraska on top of the winning. To me, I think that factors in.
It depends on what your definition of blue blood is. Do you factor in those outside things of viewership numbers and attendance numbers, and for Nebraska, the sellout streak, or are you talking strictly in between the white lines? I think from Nebraska's point of view, if you're going to span from, you go even further in history for a lot of these programs that are on the list, if you're going all the way back to the 60s,
that's a blue blood.
I mean, to me, that's a large amount of time to cover to be relevant if you're Nebraska, and they're getting back to that point. There's some of these that I think are slam dunks, like your Ohio State's is a slam dunk. I think Notre Dame, I think Alabama. But yeah, I think Nebraska's got to go on that list for sure.
I don't know about LSU being a blue blood.
Yeah, I mean they're just relevant. They're relevant all the time and in the top 25. But is that consistent? Is there got to be more national? I mean, they have a recent national championship in 2019 with Joe Burrow. Miami, for me, is somebody that if you're going to talk about consistency over time, that's a program that I think has done a lot of ups and downs, especially over the last 10 years or so.
USC hasn't been relevant.
You
for
think
a
of the
while.
Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, USC teams. For me, that's what stands out. I'd have to do a deeper dive into the history prior to that for USC, but it's a good conversation. And like you said, that's the clickbait in preseason for college football. It's easy to get people to click. I actually met Andy at Big Ten Media Days. Andy Staples, really nice guy.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about some of the coaching carousel stuff for when I was at Florida and some of the things that were going on behind the scenes. So it was kind of interesting to hear his perspective. He has a lot of inside knowledge to these things, but he has a vast knowledge of college football, so he has a really good opinion. But that's what these things are about. Get some conversation, generate some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it always stirs people up, but I think there's a couple on there I'd leave off, a couple I put back on there, and Penn State was also left off of the list as well, so probably some upset Penn State fans there as well.
I mean, at Clemson, a lot of that is recency with Dabo and what he's done and what he's created, and they've even dipped off the last couple of years. They're expected to have a really good year this season, but
I guess it's more so what he considers as what is his definition of
what's
a
the
blue
formula,
blood. Yeah.
right? I mean, you hear that. You hear it more, Jess, probably in basketball, that conversation, blue bloods, where it's Kansas, Kentucky, Duke. I think you could probably even throw with the recent national championship, Florida probably just gets into that blue blood when you're talking about basketball. I feel like you don't hear it as much with football as you do with basketball, this conversation of quote-unquote blue bloods. So, I don't know, interesting to sort of to look at. But it's at least Nebraska is on the actual graphic, though. Nebraska has not left the graphic. It's still there, ready to make the jump back in the picture.
But it got a lot of stir on my social media. I don't know if it was all over yours, but it was all over mine today.
I didn't see it till now, but it's got 1,000 retweets there. So
a lot of people, a lot of Nebraska fans,
angry
salty
fans
about that. And that's what a lot of people saying, hey, it's clickbait. Don't want to buy into it, but then we buy into it and we clickbait. So
yeah.
Oh well, it's a good talking point for a radio
It's off-season stuff, and once you kick this thing off on August 28th, and season will really start in earnest. How about this matchup to start college football, Jess? Ohio State, Texas.
Yeah,
that is big time.
And as mentioned earlier, as of today, Texas is the underdog. Ohio State favored in that one. We have our college football picks again coming up.
Yes, tell the people.
We are going to bring it back. Josh, Greg did such a good job of kind of point guarding that thing, and I had to do it a few times and was super overwhelmed. He actually even still picked the games, and I just tried to navigate us through the segment. But Josh is going to be picking us out the games, the matchups each week. And Big Dog's going to be back participating. Probably try to get Nick involved somehow as well. But the students are the reigning champs because, I had a chance to win it at the end, but went all in to try to tie them or try to beat them and ended up losing. So students are the champs, and the chat also participates. So they'll have to, remind guys, if you're listening in, you'll have to send in who was the winner from last year, so we can name you guys as well when we announce. Because we're going to do our first one right next week. So
yeah, week 0.
So we got some matchups going into next week that we're going to pick a few of them. So we'll find a day next week and do our first pick segment. So we'll have to make sure that we announce the winner from the winners from the chat.
I don't think there's ever been a week 0 where Hawaii has never has not been a part of it. They're playing Stanford this year. The big game is Iowa State, Kansas State. I believe that is the Ireland game this year.
Yep. That's a big one.
And I know Nebraska fans want to get that out of their memory. But you have Idaho State, UNLV, Fresno State, Kansas. The season truly doesn't start for us Nebraska fans on August 28th, but August 30th, that will be that first big college football Saturday.
And speaking of openers, coming up on Thursday night, Husker soccer officially kicking off the 2025-2026.
Talking about football now.
Athletic
Let's go.
year, and we're going to have a live on location analyst out there for us. We're sending Camden out there.
Now, I had one request. Please.
Okay, let's hear it.
If Camden, to get in the flavor of soccer, if he can do like an English accent.
Do everything
while he does his live report.
In a British accent.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see if he can
That's
do it.
my one request. If I have no other requests, let this be the only one.
Okay. Camden?
He's shaking his head yes. He said
maybe
whatever
at least
you say.
one of them. But he's going to be out there doing some updates for us, previewing the season. So, how about that? I had a idea today, and we're going to make it happen that Camden is going to be on location for us out there at the opener.
It reminds me back in the day, old school radio hits, like you'd have a stringer at all these different, like if it was an NFL
like if you
Sunday.
Were at a remote or... Yeah.
So Camden, don't be bothering people in the press box, though, when you're doing you have to step outside the press box to do your update, unless you have a quiet corner in the press box. But I look forward to, I called a lot of soccer, a lot of SEC soccer, so I can't wait to get out there, see that stadium. They had a good environment for the exhibition the other day.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice. Those facilities out there, they're connected to tennis. You got to get out there and see them. They're second to none. All right, we're going to get to a break, but when we come back, we're bringing back the Weekend Winners segment. So keep it here on Sports Nightly.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agent Dory Milberger or Darren Frazier in Omaha or agent Terry Dingwell in Fremont.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Welcome back to Sports Daily final segment here on this Monday night edition, and we're bringing back a crowd favorite, Weekend Winners. We pick each chime in and pick a favorite, a winner over the weekend, and Kyle's first time participating. They were fighting during the commercial break on who got to go first because we were having to tell him, hey, you have to have a list because if someone takes yours, you can't repeat it. I go first. So we'll let him go first today, being that he's the newbie. Sorry, David and Camden.
So, in the Sunshine State the other day, and one thing we call the NFL preseason, which is tremendous. The Jaguars took on the Pittsburgh Steelers in what was, in the moment, a record set, but not really because it's not official. It was the preseason. Cam Little has the biggest right leg that you will ever see. Hit a 70-yard field goal, which, if it was the regular season, would be a new NFL record. Was a kick at the gun of the first half of the first NFL preseason game of the year for the Steelers and the Jaguars. Cam Little is my winner of the weekend.
Okay, there you go.
Did I do it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever you want. Camden, I set Kyle up. I kind of set him up to expect big things for you because normally you do some deep dives and find some
This better
things
be good.
I tried
Can
to
I
look
boo him
today.
if it's not good?
I tried to look today, and nothing really stuck out. So it's kind of a layup, I feel like, for mine. But MLB's first female umpire, Jen Powell, over the weekend. I've umped my brother's games, the 14U doubleheader solo, and it's a very tough job.
You were an umpire?
Pinch hit umpire, because the other umpires didn't show up. And so they're like, well, we need someone to umpire. And
My dad was an umpire, too. I'd always get on him when he'd make a bad call. It's a tough job.
So it's a very hard job. So she made her MLB debut as the first female umpire over the weekend, and she was even the home plate umpire, I think it was yesterday. So.
Nice. I like it, Camden.
A little bit of history.
Good stuff. All right, David.
All right, so my weekend winner is soccer fans here in the U.S., but for the Spanish League, because they are getting super close to have the first ever regular season game happen in the U.S. Villarreal and Barcelona are trying to get a game happening in Miami on December 20th, and they got a approval from the Spanish Soccer Federation here recently over the weekend, so they're one step closer to making it happen in Florida.
There you go.
Love it.
I'm going to stick with the soccer theme. And how about Reagan Robbie scored her first goal since September of 2022 in the exhibition contest on Friday night. And she's someone that we had on the show just last week. And incredible story, was injured, had back-to-back injuries, had missed 2 seasons, but was able to get back out there. And she's healthy, and a fantastic story. It was a great interview. It was one of the leaders this year, so gets in the net. I asked her who's going to fill some of the roles of Eleanor Dale, and then a couple years ago, and then last year, Sarah Weber, and she said, hopefully a bunch of us, and hopefully one of those is me, when she got off to a good start with her first goal, and hopefully many more to come here this season as they officially start counting on Thursday, which Camden will be out at.
Yeah, excited to go.
So
I haven't been in probably 2 years now.
So to get into the soccer theme, are you all in on doing the English accent
He
for
was
me?
part of so listen, they do student groups that are go out and support. He was a part of, what is it called?
The Husker Hooligans.
Yeah.
Husker Hooligans, okay.
That's the student section name for soccer.
I like it.
So,
Maybe
it's
I'll
big time.
do you have a good British accent?
I got to work on it. It's going to be a work in progress.
If you don't want to do it, just get ready for next time. Second time.
I'll let you do it when I do the check-in.
Okay. I have to work on it because it sounds kind of like, when I do a British accent, it kind of sounds Australian. So
We'll work on it. David, I'm surprised you didn't go Shadur Sanders here for us tonight. All right, that's going to do it for us here on this edition of Sports Nightly. Thanks to David and Camden for helping us drive this ship, and Kyle Crooks. We have a football availability tomorrow, so we'll have that for you here tomorrow night. And lots of volleyball leading up to the alumni match on Saturday as well. So lots of good stuff coming this week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing.
think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha. Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See Shelter Agent Sharon Lear in Papillion, Paul Hoos in Grand Island, or an Ord Sea Agent Matt Woodward.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.